the stream always starts immediately. Like we're probably streaming onto YouTube right now, even though Zoom says
Yeah,
it's loading.
I can see that on the left corner.
Yeah. Yep, we are live on YouTube. Let me share it in the Zoom chat as well in case any of you guys want to join on YouTube. Then we can start the recording and we can get the webinar going finally. It's been some time since we've actually had a technical issue on a webinar before. Feels good. Feels like the old days again. All right. Let's hit record locally so that you guys... I don't know why that notification started coming, but welcome everyone to this webinar about how you can use WhatsApp chatbots to automate your customer service. This is a webinar that's pretty much been in the works since we launched our WhatsApp campaigns feature, and actually even before that, kind of when we launched our WhatsApp chatbots. And there's a lot to discuss, so let's jump right in. As always, with our webinars, we like to begin with intros. And today I'm actually joined by a co-host. We didn't initially plan to have a co-host on this webinar, but I mean, Rhythm and I were talking about what the content in this webinar should be because Rhythm's on our customer success team and he works on these WhatsApp chatbots in the field. And he had some great insights. So we figured, why not bring Rhythm on so that he can tell you from his firsthand experience how to implement a lot of the stuff that we are talking about today. Now, to begin with, I'm your regular co-host. My name is Arnav. I am a content marketer over here at ours, and essentially that means that I create content like this webinar to help you guys get the most out of chatbots in your marketing and customer service technology stacks. And as I mentioned, I'm joined today by Rhythm, who's our customer success manager, one of our customer success managers. Welcome, Rhythm. I think this is your second webinar, right?
That's right. Thank you for having me, Arnav. And as Arnav said, like I help customers with their onboarding and in case there are some complex integrations with the chatbot. So the job of the success team is to help the customers with that. And I myself have been pretty much involved a lot with WhatsApp chatbots and WhatsApp campaigns.
Right.
So in this webinar, I'll be taking you through like steps to implement a WhatsApp chatbot and how we can send campaigns from the TARS dashboard itself.
Right. Yeah, the fun parts of the webinar is all going to be Rhythm. Now, in terms of who we are as a company, the sort of elevator pitch definition, the short one-line definition is that TARS is a company that's been helping businesses automate processes and improve customer experience using conversational tech, so chatbots, since 2016. But the more fleshed out story behind TARS is that we started off in 2016 with a simple vision in mind. We wanted to improve the way businesses interacted with their customers because we were tired of interacting with we were tired of our interactions with businesses being as terrible as they were, considering that we were in the era of digital marketing, in the era of digital buying and selling. And the tool that we found worked for that purpose was chatbots. Just having conversations, facilitating conversations between businesses and customers seemed to be the best way to achieve what we were trying to achieve in terms of improving customer service. And that's how we got to where we are today. The last 5 years has just been iteration after iteration on that basic premise. And what we are talking about today ties in very closely to that initial vision. So if you're wondering where our information comes from, it comes from this experience over the course of the last 5 years of actually implementing chatbots to help businesses improve their customer experience. Now, in terms of what we are actually going to cover in this webinar, we've divided the webinar up into 5 parts. As I mentioned, we have a lot to cover. We should actually probably speed up right now. But we have a lot to cover in this session in the next hour. First, we're going to discuss what exactly customer service is. Now, this might seem like something that we don't have to do. I mean, everyone over here probably works in customer service. Don't we all already know what customer service is? I still think it's worthwhile to go over it really quickly so we're all on the same page because there are there are some variations in how people define what exactly customer service is. And I think the definition that most people use, most average people use to think about customer service tends to be a little bit off the mark in terms of what we're talking about today, especially. Next, we're going to talk about how WhatsApp chatbots figure into customer service. So today, we're not just talking about how you can improve your customer service. We're talking about how you can improve your customer service using WhatsApp chatbots. So in the second section, we're going to tie in the WhatsApp chatbots angle, and we're going to talk to you about how WhatsApp chatbots figure into the broader context of customer service. In the third section, we are going to go over some examples to back up essentially what we talk about in section 2. Just talk you through some examples of where you can use WhatsApp chatbots, where you can use some of the functionality that we'll show you how to use on the TARS side in sections 4 and 5. What sorts of use cases you can think about as you consider using WhatsApp chatbots in your customer service operations. Then in sections 4 and 5, I'm going to hand it over to Rhythm. That's the real fun part of the webinar, and we're going to try to keep most of the webinar in sections 4 and 5. That is where we are going to actually tell you how WhatsApp customer service chatbots work. So Rhythm's going to give you a breakdown, step-by-step breakdown of what the entire process looks like to stand up a WhatsApp chatbot. And then we're actually going to show you a couple of live deployments that we have out in the wild, including one from our company, I think, one of our
Yeah,
chatbots itself. To show you guys some of our WhatsApp campaigns functionality, which is a key aspect of this broader WhatsApp customer service chatbot discussion. So without further ado, let's get started with the main content of this webinar. So what is customer service? I mean, all of you guys probably know what customer service is. If you ask most people what customer service is, they will tell you something along these lines. Essentially, you call customer service. They're the department of any business that you call when something goes wrong. Your package comes to you broken from Amazon, comes to you the wrong size, you want to return it, you call customer service. Your credit card for some reason gets blocked. Maybe there's a fraud charge on it. You call some customer service help desk at the bank to get that sorted out. There's an issue with your phone number. You call customer service and they sort it out for you. Most people, when they think of customer service, they think it is the department that you call when something goes wrong. A lot of customer service reps get an earful from customers when things don't go right. That's what we think of traditionally when we're thinking about customer service. But uh, a better definition that I like to use in customer service, don't know how that's gotten there, but a better definition that I like to think of when we're having a conversation about customer service is this one. This is a definition I actually got from Salesforce, so credit to them where credit is due. But the way they define customer service is the support you offer to your customers both before and after they buy and use your product or services that helps them have an easy and enjoyable experience with you. Now, this definition of customer service, I like this definition better because it doesn't only make your customer service reactive. And we'll get into what it means for customer service to be reactive in a slide. But it doesn't only mean that your customer service comes into play when something goes wrong. It means that you can take a more proactive approach to customer service, where you deliver value to your customers or you help your customers get value out of your product or services in a proactive way. And actually, one example that I think, Rhythm, you can relate to as well, working in customer success at TARS, is like when we think of customer success at TARS, we're not thinking about helping people out when something goes wrong in the builder. We're thinking of taking a
right.
proactive approach to help people get value out of our product before they even ask us for it. And I think that
Absolutely.
is
Yeah.
the sort of mode of customer service that we want to be thinking in as we are going forward in this webinar. Um,
Yeah.
Now,
So,
in
like,
go ahead.
sorry to interrupt. Like, I just wanted to add to it. Like, proactive customer support also would mean that we can send out reminders of clearing out payments or
Right,
alerts on their phone number or their WhatsApp number or whatever
right.
channel they are using. Yeah.
Right, precisely. So to give you guys some example, I mean, we already touched on these concepts, both Rhythm and I, but we've touched on two modes of customer services you can think about it. There's reactive customer service and there's proactive customer service. Now, reactive customer service is the sort of customer service that we're used to. It's where you address questions, queries, challenges that customers have when they have them. So a customer has a question about your product, they approach you, they ask you that question, they approach your help desk, they ask that question, and you answer it to the best of your ability. Something goes wrong, again, you help them troubleshoot that problem so that they have an enjoyable experience with your company going forward. But proactive customer service, which is the sort of thing that we are adding to this picture, is where you deliver customer service to your customers before they even ask for it. And we'll get into some examples, but Rhythm gave some great examples reminding people about their payments. If there's one example that we will talk about a little bit in the example section that Rhythm and I were discussing yesterday is, say you're a bank and your customers, there's a change in the regulation. Your customers need to submit some documents, some additional documents to get continued service. Now you need to take a proactive step to get your customers to submit those documents to you. You can't just expect your customers to keep tabs on what regulations are changing and submit those documents to you on their own. You want to be proactive about that, and you want to reach out to them and help them get the most possible value that they can out of your product. Now, with that out of the way, we can discuss how WhatsApp improves customer service. So we've established at this point what customer service is, what we are talking about when we're talking about customer service. We're not just talking about the reactive traditional customer service. We're also talking about proactive customer service, where you actually go out there and you try to deliver value to people before they even ask for it. Now we need to figure out how WhatsApp chatbots figure into this whole picture, because the title of this webinar is using WhatsApp chatbots to automate your customer service, right? So where do WhatsApp chatbots figure into this? Well, before we can answer that question, we need to define what a WhatsApp chatbot is. And the definition is quite simple. We've all probably interacted with a WhatsApp chatbot at some point. We've all at the very least interacted with just a chatbot of any kind, be it on WhatsApp or be it on the web at some point. In fact, I know all of you guys have interacted with a chatbot, because to sign up for this webinar on our landing page, you had to interact with a chatbot. There was a sign up chatbot. But essentially what a WhatsApp chatbot is, what any chatbot is, it's a computer program designed to simulate a conversation with a human being to facilitate the trade of information or services. This is a very drab definition. I honestly don't like it. It feels like a dictionary definition. But what it essentially means is, think of it as a customer service rep that can answer questions that your customers might have, and proactively give your customers information that helps them get more out of your product or services. Think of them as a virtual customer service rep that has a WhatsApp account, is accessible on WhatsApp, and that your customers can reach out to. So in this screenshot over here, this is an example of an actual chatbot that we deployed as an example on our WhatsApp business number. We'll get into what that means on our WhatsApp business, using our WhatsApp business API access. But think of it as a virtual customer service rep that has a WhatsApp account, and all of your customers can message that customer service rep on WhatsApp. And the beauty is, it's a piece of software. We'll get into this, but it's a piece of software, so it can have infinite conversations at one go. In a nutshell, that is what a WhatsApp chatbot is. Now, when we're thinking about implementing something like this, when we're thinking about implementing any new technology into the way we run our business, the fundamental question that we need to ask ourselves is, why do I want to go to all the effort, invest all of this money and time into integrating this into my operation? Isn't what I'm already doing working for me right now? It's not like my office is on fire right now because we can't deal with customer service requests, or we can't provide customer service to people. So I think a good exercise for us in the next couple of slides, before I hand it over to Rhythm, or before we look at some examples, is to see how WhatsApp chatbots, as a way to deliver customer service, as a way to answer questions that your prospects might have, and to proactively give customers information that helps them, how it stacks up against traditional methods of customer service. So we already provide customer service. Customer service itself is not a very new thing. But WhatsApp chatbots are. So how do they stack up against the traditional ways that we provide customer service to people? And when we're thinking about traditional customer service, let's divide customer service up into two buckets: human-based systems, so call centers, live chats, things like that, where you're interacting with an actual person on the other end, and text-based systems, which are FAQs, help docs, even emails that you send out to your customers, informing them of things. SMSs that you send out to your customers, informing them of things, could be seen as a form of, depending on how you implemented a text-based system, if you're just blasting people with information on SMS. But any place where you're just putting text up on an email, or you're putting text up on a web page, and you're expecting your customers to read through it on their own, that's an example of a text-based system. Now let's look at each one of these individually and see what are the good things, what are the bad things, and what perhaps needs fixing, where WhatsApp chatbots can fit into the picture. Now, the good things about human customer service, live chat, call centers, things like that, is that human beings are the gold standard of customer service. We've all been in a situation where where something goes wrong, you call a customer service line and you get stuck on that IVRS system, and all you want to do is reach a human being on the other end. That's all you want to do. You might have even seen a web page before where apparently the answer to your question is there on that web page, but all you want to do is get on the phone and talk to a person, because that person is going to understand your problem. You can describe it to them in your own words. They'll understand that problem and they'll know what to do to solve that problem. They will either know the answer to it, or even if they don't know the answer to it, even if it's way above their pay grade, they'll know where to direct you to get that answer resolved. And that is something that customers love. It's a highly engaging experience, and it's a very easy way to address complex issues. So for most customers, human beings, human agents are the gold standard for customer service. That's the good part about customer service. Now, from the business perspective, though, customer service can be hard, because human-based customer service can be hard because it's prohibitively expensive. I mean, you have to think about payroll, you have to think about HR, you have to think about office space to have all of your customer service agents in your office, and that's not even thinking about the stress and like all of your free time and your mental well-being that goes in managing a full customer service operation. It can balloon very quickly, especially, I mean, I was actually trying to describe this to a couple of our interns today when I was explaining to them when I was onboarding them. But one way you can think about it is you're essentially suffering from success, because your customer service agents are not going to scale the same rate that your customers scale. You can get a lot of customers quickly if you're growing fast and you're doing a good job in marketing, but it's not like you can get every time you get a new customer, you get a new customer service agent, right? So inevitably you're going to reach a point in time where you can't afford to get new agents. You just don't have space for them. You don't have the money to pay them. You cannot scale your customer service operation any further. But you have all of these customers that still have questions, and inevitably what ends up happening is they end up waiting in line. So that means they get stuck on the IVRS system. They get stuck waiting for an agent to come on live chat. And none of this is even talking about the fact that after work hours, God forbid you have a question after 6 p.m., they're not going to be available because those customer service agents have to go home and go to sleep. So this is the bad part about human-based customer service. And the ugly part is, I didn't want to have a picture for this. Stuff happens in the world. There are hurricanes, there are earthquakes, there are pandemics, and when things like this happen, your human-based customer service operation can go down. This is something that we talked to a lot of our customers about, and they definitely faced this issue when the pandemic first hit last year. I'm sure they're going through it now as well, where their customer service operations, because they are dependent on actual people going into an office and being able to answer questions, gets affected when everyone has to stay at home. And from a business perspective, that's obviously not tenable, because people are still going to have these questions regardless of what's happening in the world. So that is the full picture on human-based customer service. Now let's talk about text-based customer service. When we're talking about text-based customer service, we are talking again about FAQs, help docs, just web pages where you have information that can help your customers. Now, the beauty of text-based systems is that they address all of the problems of human-based systems. They're cheap. There's no effort involved after setup. You put up a web page with the information that you think your customers need, and then that's it. You just leave the web page there, and people can access it. People can read through that information, find what they need, get their questions resolved. It's infinitely scalable. As many people as you want can look at one web page at a time and get that same information at the same time. So there's no question of people waiting in line, and your web page doesn't have to go home, doesn't have to check out at 6 p.m. The web page is available 24/7. So if there is some weird customer out there that wants the question answered at 3 a.m. in the morning, they'll get that question answered through a web page if that information is available on the web page. The bad thing about web pages, though, is that they're very unengaging, and this is pretty bad. We don't have an ugly for text-based systems, but I think this is pretty bad. The issue with web pages, with traditional text-based systems, is that they're unengaging. People barely have the attention span to read through a Facebook post today. They're not reading through your FAQ page. They're not reading through your web page with all of that information. I think we've all been in a situation where we've landed on a web page where supposedly the answer to a question is on that web page, or a business has sent us a link to a web page saying this is important information, please read it, and we've not read it. We've skimmed through it. We've maybe called a human being to talk to them, gone through the IVRS system, and gotten frustrated. But the end result of all of this is that as customer service people, as customer support people, we are stuck in this dilemma where we are choosing between human-based systems, which are effective but expensive and disruptible, and text-based systems that are ineffective but cheap and reliable. And most people choose both. That's not really a viable solution because you just end up with the problems of both. Like I described, your customer goes onto a web page, they skim through it, they don't find the answer to their question, even though it's there. And then they end up calling your call center, or they go to your live chat and they get stuck waiting in line or in an IVRS system, and they get frustrated. So you just end up with the problems of both. And this is where WhatsApp chatbots come into the picture. WhatsApp chatbots sit in the middle of these two approaches to customer service. They're engaging. So like I said, WhatsApp, if you remember a few slides before, a WhatsApp chatbot is automated customer service rep that can answer questions and proactively provide information to your customers. Now, the beauty of this approach, the beauty of having this automated customer service rep that's accessible through WhatsApp, like you can see in this tiny little screenshot over here, is that they're engaging. So just like when you talk to a human being on a phone or over live chat, you're having a conversation with this chatbot, even though it is a piece of software. But the fact that you're having a conversation with them makes the entire process feel more like the human-based system, and it makes it feel a little bit more engaging, because we find conversations very easy to do. We have them with our friends and family every single day. They can explain complex queries, because one of the issues with text-based pages is that they're not good at explaining complex queries because it takes a lot of text to explain a text-based query. You need to account for all of the potential permutations and combinations of situations that your customers might be in. Say, like, if your situation is like this, then this is the information for you. If your situation is like that, this information is for you, and you just have it dumped onto a single page. With a chatbot, on the other hand, it's like a human being in that it has a conversation. So it can first ascertain what your situation is and then accordingly give you information. So it can ask you a few questions and say, describe what you're trying to get done. Are you are you looking for a credit card? Oh, tell me a little bit about how you use your credit card, and according to that, I'll recommend where you should go, or which department you should go to, or which credit card you should maybe look into. So chatbots are great at that because they have the ability to branch conversations, and they can ask you questions and then accordingly show you information. They're also cheap. So WhatsApp chatbots are I mean, you just need one WhatsApp chatbot to interact with all of your customers, regardless of how many customers you have. So they're cheap. They address that issue with they have all of these advantages of a human-based system, but they don't have the disadvantage of cost that your call center or your live chat might have. And they're always available. It's a piece of software, doesn't have to sleep. You can talk to it any time of day, any day of the year, which is a huge bonus. And since we're talking about WhatsApp in particular, I'd be remiss if I did not talk about why. I mean, all of the benefits that I just spoke about could apply to any chatbot platform. A web-based chatbot could help you achieve the same things. A messenger chatbot could help you achieve the same things. But when we're talking about WhatsApp chatbots, the reason the WhatsApp aspect of the WhatsApp chatbot is so important is because that is where all your customers are. I mean, when we're thinking about facilitating conversations between businesses and customers, where are your customers having conversations? And for the vast majority of you in the audience, I think the vast majority of your customers, depending on which market you're in, if you're in India, if you're in Latin America, if you're in most markets in the world, your customers are having their conversations on WhatsApp. They're talking to their friends, they're talking to their family on WhatsApp. There's 2 billion active users, which is like it is an unfathomable amount of people using WhatsApp every day, and there's 65 billion messages sent daily, which is again like it is very hard to it's very hard to wrap your head around these sorts of numbers. It's also the most downloaded messaging app in the world, which sort of makes sense considering the other two factors. But suffice it to say that this is we're talking about what the best way to provide customer service to your customers is, and we've decided that the best way to do that is to have conversations with them in an automated way. Now, where are those conversations going to happen? They have to happen on WhatsApp because that is the premier destination for conversations for most of your customers. So that sort of wraps up the entire story of where WhatsApp chatbots figure into the customer service picture. I think we can go through a couple of examples really quick, and then I'm going to hand it over to Ritam because we really want to get into the second two parts. In fact, actually, Ritam, I think you could pipe in here as well because I wrote up these slides based on consultation with you, but I mean, you're actually out there in the field having these conversations with people and helping people implement things like this. So we prepared some examples to give you guys some context about this next section. We prepared some examples of how we have seen people using customer service WhatsApp chatbots, how we think people could use customer service WhatsApp chatbots, and we'll break them down for you. So the first one is an example of an auto dealership servicing reminder. So if you own a car, I presume a lot of you guys in the audience own cars. If you own a car, you know that periodically you have to take your car in for servicing, right? Now, it's very easy to forget when you have to take your car in for servicing, or you could just be lazy. You know that you have to take it in for servicing, but you don't necessarily, you procrastinate. Now, what the car dealership can do to help you out and be proactive about providing you customer service is they have your phone number because you provided it when you bought your car. They could send you a notification reminding you that your car servicing is due. So if the dealership has a WhatsApp chatbot linked to a WhatsApp business number, which we'll discuss in a little bit, they can send you that reminder, and then in the chat itself, the WhatsApp chatbot can help you book the car servicing. And Ritam, if I'm not mistaken, some of our customers are actually using this use case.
Yeah. They are using it not only for service bookings. It can be used for warranty renewal reminders. It can be used for insurance reminders. So the workshop basically has all the records of the customers, like whether the customer, he or she came in about a year ago. So it's the correct time to send them a reminder about the car service.
Right. And this is a great example of proactive customer service. Like you're going out of your way to like help customers get the most out of your services. A great example of it. And I think from what I've heard, from what I've seen in a Slack channel, the discussion about that particular account, they seem to have seen a lot of value out of just this, even just like the first thing that they experimented with, which was just notifications to remind people about the servicing. So an immense amount of value and an immense amount of engagement on customers who were otherwise cold and would not have come in for their servicing. Second example, Ritam, this kind of touches on what you mentioned with the warranty reminder. I mean, insurances sometimes are they're fixed term. You want to remind your customers to renew their insurance. You can send them a friendly WhatsApp notification to inform them that their policies are close to expiring and they can renew them. Have we seen people doing things like this? I mean, we have, I guess, in the
in the auto dealership use case itself, they are using it to send insurance renewal reminders, because the insurance is also done through the auto dealership itself.
Awesome. I just got auto insurance yesterday. I wonder if they are going to, I mean, like, it would be cool if they send me a WhatsApp reminder to renew it whenever it expires. Funny, we went from example 1 to example 3 to example 2. This is what happens when you mess around the slides right before the webinar. Okay, so banking policy change notice. This is the one I was talking about right at the beginning of the webinar. You work at a bank. Your customers have to submit some additional documents because there's a new regulation. How do you get your customers to submit those documents? How do you inform them? Like you cannot count on your customers who are people out there who have jobs, who have their own lives, to keep a track of what changes are being made in banking regulation. So they are not going to know they have to submit these documents. You have to make a proactive effort to get them to submit these documents. Again, send them a WhatsApp notification. Be proactive about it. Inform them that they need to submit these documents and then get them to submit the documents to you. Uh, Another example of proactive customer service. And then the final example, maybe we should have made this example 7, just since the numbering is all off. But the final example that we have over here is hospital virtual assistant. Rhythm, our last webinar, the last webinar that you came on, we went through a virtual assistant, right? Are we going to be we're taking a look at the IMC chatbot today, right, in the demo?
Yes.
Yes.
We'll
So,
have a demo on that itself today as well.
right.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to look at an example of a WhatsApp customer service help desk that a hospital, one of the largest hospitals in the Middle East, one of the possibly largest hospitals in the world, has set up. We discussed it in one of our previous webinars, the previous webinar that Rhythm was on with us for, where they address non-urgent administrative requests that patients have. Things like, I want to see my report. I want to reschedule my appointment. Things like that. They don't need to go through the hospital front desk, who are already swamped with a million other things on their plate. If they want instant service and they want good service, they can just go to a WhatsApp chatbot. They can go to a hospital virtual assistant or help desk, whatever you want to call it, to get those questions resolved. This is an example of reactive customer service, but it pairs well with the proactive examples that we gave as well. You can send, you
Right.
obviously need to do both. You need to be available when customers have questions for you, and you need to go out of your way to give customers information even before they ask for it, or even before they know that they need that information. But those are the examples that we have for you. Those are just to get your brain juices flowing to think about how you can implement WhatsApp chatbots into your customer service operations. Now I'm going to hand it over to Rhythm to talk to you about how you can actually implement this. Hopefully by this point, I've got you guys inspired and you want one of these, and now you're going to learn how you can actually implement it. So Rhythm, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hand it over.
Yeah. So implementing a WhatsApp chatbot is a pretty straightforward process, but the first step is what is like, this is the most time-consuming process: getting the WhatsApp Business API. Now, again, we should not confuse, like generally most of the people confuse WhatsApp, a general WhatsApp business account, with a WhatsApp Business API account, which is also known as WABA account. But there is a huge difference between these two. A normal WhatsApp business account basically gives you the same level of features that you give on a customer account, a consumer account. But with WhatsApp Business API, you get access to their APIs. You can basically automate, you can like push triggers in certain cases, and you can, the main thing is you can send it to a bulk of users at a single point in time. So now, since we can do mass messaging in this channel, so WhatsApp has some policies to prevent spam. Like we have seen with emails and SMSs, like they have become quite spammy. Like people tend to send about bulk emails to about 20,000, 30,000 list of subscribers. So to prevent spam, WhatsApp has come with say about 2 to 3 policies, and these mainly focus around like if the business is relevant, if it is a genuine business. The second thing is what we can send as a message and to whom we can send. Now, the first point of verifying the business by WhatsApp. So this process takes about 2 to 3 weeks, and it basically has to go through us. Like you have to contact a TARS customer support manager, customer success manager, and we'll help you get started with the WhatsApp Business API. Now, once the WhatsApp Business API is in place, once your business has been granted WhatsApp Business API access, then the rest of the steps are pretty easy and straightforward. So the next step is to build a WhatsApp chatbot conversational flow. Now, since the first steps takes about 2 to 3 weeks, we suggest customers to get started with the conversational flow. Now, if you have previously worked on the TARS platform, you know that like it is a quite easy drag and drop builder, and we can share the help docs around it as well. So you can basically like go through those help docs and start building a customer support chatbot. Now, once it is done, the like now again, to prevent spam, the people that you can send notifications to. Now, according to WhatsApp, you can only send notifications to those people who have approved to receive. Like we call it opt-ins. So those people who have opted in to receive messages from your business, you can only send messages to those users. Now, there are a lot of ways to collect opt-ins, like building your WhatsApp audience. Now we'll go through those. So the main thing is you can generate a WhatsApp, generate a link or a QR code for a particular number. Like if someone clicks on that particular link, they land on the WhatsApp chat itself, or if they scan the QR code, they land on the WhatsApp chat itself. Now, the ways to promote this link and QR code can be through Facebook ads, through email campaigns, through SMS campaigns, and through push notifications as well. Like you can basically say that we are on WhatsApp now. To start getting notifications from us, please click on here and reply with a hi, like type a hi to this number. So once they do that, they come into your opt-in list and you are allowed to send messages to those numbers. Uh, but again, like coming to the point of WhatsApp, like Facebook does not have a mechanism to identify if the user has opted in or not. So that means, like, even if you are sending to a list of users who have not opted in, WhatsApp won't be able to identify that. But again, like if you are sending it to a list of users who have not opted in, it will mean that they can report your business or they can block your number, which WhatsApp takes as a spam, and it can block your number or degrade or restrict your messaging.
I mean,
Now,
seems like the
yeah.
rules of WhatsApp, like engaging people on WhatsApp, is just the rules of marketing. Don't be spammy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if someone has done a bulk SMS campaign, they would be knowing that we have TRAI in India who approves the templates of messages that we want to send. So, same
Right.
ways WhatsApp also works. Like, just to like for the fourth point, like what message, like any message that we want to send to our users, that has to be approved from WhatsApp. Now, how we can do that? It can be done from our dashboard itself. We can basically submit a template. WhatsApp takes about 24 to 48 hours to get it approved or rejected. And if it is approved, we can start sending out those templates to our opt-in list. And the fifth point is pretty straightforward. Like you can just go to the dashboard and start sending campaigns to your opt-in list.
Now, to be clear over here, Ritam, when we're getting permission for the template messages, this is just the messages that we're sending out as a notification, right? The
Right.
messages that we create in the conversational flow. So if someone comes and says hi to your WhatsApp chatbot, even if we don't have any
Mhm.
template messages approved, that
Right.
flow will still be operational.
That's right. That's right. Like it is a user. It can be happen either ways. It can be a user-initiated chatbot conversation, or it can be initiated by the chatbot using the template messages.
Right.
Now, what policies are there for template messages is that it should not be promotional in nature. You can have all your promotional text inside the WhatsApp chatbot, but it should not be inside the template message. Like if you want to promote any offers, you can have it as your first message. Like whenever a customer replies to the template message, the first thing he sees is the offers.
Got it.
So that is how we can bypass that WhatsApp restriction of not promoting marketing messages or promotional messages. So yeah, coming to the demo, I wanted to show two things for the customer support chatbot. It is International Medical Center, like who is one of our enterprise customers, and these guys are one of the largest hospitals in Saudi Arabia and the Middle East region. So how they have deployed it, like as I said, coming to this point again of how we can collect opt-ins. Now these guys have implemented a WhatsApp widget over here. Like if you click this widget, you'll be
Hey,
able
really
to.
quick, Ritam. Before you continue with this demo, we will be showing you a template message demo, and if you guys want to be added to that template message and want to get that template message, while Ritam is showing us this example, drop your phone number and name to us in the chat. We'll use that and we'll add you to our list, and then we'll send you a message through the WhatsApp template message when we're running it later in the demo.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, this is how they are driving traffic to the WhatsApp chatbot. Like this QR code is there in their hospitals as well. They have put up standees with this QR code. All their pamphlets also has this QR code. Like for any support related issues, you can just scan this QR code and start chatting with it. Now, what is there in this chatbot is like as you saw, that is basically that button was basically a link to the chat. Now, if I click continue to chat, yeah.
I always have this problem where WhatsApp takes where any page takes an obnoxious amount of time to load when you're screen sharing on Zoom.
That's right. So yeah, as you can see, this is the virtual chat assistant of International Medical Center. You can see this green tick over here. This means that it is an official business account, an OPA. Now we have articles on OPA on our help section. You can go through that as well. Now, if I start conversation with this chatbot, if I just type a hi to this, I just put my keep my phone close to me, and this chatbot is in Arabic and English both. So yeah, I'll select the virtual assistant English, and it will basically show me three things. Like it will ask me three things: if I'm a new visitor, if I'm a returning visitor, or in case I have some general queries. Now in case I select this, I had selected the first option, it would have taken me to the patient portal to register myself. Now this company IMC have a patient tab and a patient portal, and we are deeply integrated with it. Now, if I've selected third, it would have taken me to the FAQ section. Now I have selected second, which is I am a returning visitor. Now, since I am a returning visitor, I can basically access all my patient records, all my reports, and I can book an appointment from the chatbot itself. So, along with a customer support chatbot, like addressing the general FAQs, it is also acting as a patient portal. Like it is connected with their hospital management system. And like once you enter your MR number, which is the medical record number, ideally what happens is an OTP is triggered to your number. But I'm using a dummy number in this case, so I can enter any OTP and I can access the this test patient records. So as you can see, the name in this case is test. It would have been your first name. Um, So I'll just show you quickly how we can book an appointment through this chatbot. And this is happening in real time. Like the connections are done with their patient management system. Like all these values you can see are dynamic values. Like once I selected, I want to book an appointment, they fetched the records of all their clinics and departments. Now, suppose if I want to book an appointment in the cardiology section, in the cardiology clinic, I'll select 8, and it will show me the doctors that are there in the cardiology department. Now again, like all this is happening in real time. These are not static values. These are being fetched dynamically from their hospital management system. Now if I select Dr. Adnan Hussain, yeah, I'll select on book an appointment. And basically it will show me all the available slots that the doctor has for the next 3 to 4 days. As you can see, these are all the available slots that this person has, and I can book any of the slot as per my convenience. So yeah, this is pretty much it. Like how the customer support thing works for a hospital. Yeah, for a hospital. Now, in case they have like they are coming up with vaccines and stuff, like they are having a vaccination drive, and all these notifications can be sent using the campaigns feature. Now, coming to the campaigns part, I'll quickly just switch my chat to the TARS chatbot. Yeah, so all of you would be familiar with most of you would be familiar with the TARS dashboard. And once we have the business, the WABA API is in place, we can add that from this section. Like you have to go to your settings, you have to click on WhatsApp, and you can add a number. Like once we have the WABA, we'll get a WhatsApp API key. We can add the number, the WhatsApp API key, and once we click on this number would be added to your account. Now this number is added in the account level. It's not configured with any chatbot now. So what happens is once you have the number added in your account, you can go to any of the chatbot, and from the drop down, you can select the number with which you want to configure the chatbot with. Now, again, the beauty of this feature is you can change the conversational flow in any point in time. Like you can unpublish this from a particular chatbot and publish it to a different chatbot. So I guess the list is ready, or are we still? Arnav, I can't hear you.
I was going to say what you're looking at over there is you just a regular spreadsheet. We've just blacked out the names and the phone numbers.
Okay. So yeah, like we have now again, like going into like deeper level. Along with the phone number, we can have certain parameters in different columns. For example, you want to refer the person's name inside the template or inside the chatbot. So we can have all these columns populated, and we can refer those values inside the template or inside the chatbot at any point in time. Now, how to do that? I'll download this as a CSV. Oh yeah, one more thing I forgot. Like to add a template also, you can do it pretty easily from this section. Like you just need to click on add a template, name your template, and enter your template message over here. So yeah, coming to the campaigns section now. Test webinar 2505. So I'll name this. I'll upload this sheet, and I can, like, these are the templates that have already been approved by WhatsApp, and it will come as a drop down. So it already has my name. Mm, yeah, this one is better. So over here, you can see this curly braces one. It basically means that we can add those column values in here dynamically. Now, how we can do that is there is a short syntax for it, urlp dot the column name, which in this case would be name. So once I click on create campaign, it got created, and I'll just click on run. And yeah, um,
I got it myself as well. Webinar reminder.
yeah. So okay,
Yes.
the emoji is missing from here. We can add that as well. We have a template with an emoji. But anyways, the point of sending the template message is for you to is for the user to just trigger the conversation. Like the intent of the template message, like as you can see over here, type hello and we'll help you with all the other questions. Now if I type hello, it will start the chatbot conversation. And yeah, this is how it works. And coming to the maker dashboard, if you are not familiar with it, this is how it looks like. It is pretty easy to build, and yeah, you can take help of our help docs.
I mean, if you've ever made a flowchart in your life in school, anywhere, you can make a chatbot on the TARS platform.
Yeah. To quote our CEO, building a chatbot from TARS is as easy as writing an email. So
Exactly.
yeah, so yeah, that was pretty much it.
Great. That was a great demo. We have a lot of action in the chat. Um, we have a lot of action in the chat over here. I think what we'll do for the rest of our time over here, we have about 11 minutes scheduled, but Ritam and I will both stay on the video for longer. If you guys do have questions, um, let us know what you guys thoughts are. Let us know if you guys have any questions in the chat. We'd be more than happy to help you guys out with that, clarify any doubts that you guys have. If you guys do need to leave, before you do, hold on just a second. I am going to pull up our contact us slide. You can contact us through any of these methods over here, and I'm sure um, my colleague Abhilash will be in the chat right now sharing some links for you to contact us with as well. But other than that, I invite you guys to stay on the webinar. I invite you guys to stay on the session and ask us your questions about this about what we discussed, because this is a new technology for a lot of people. And we'd love to hear what sorts of doubts you guys have. All right. So we have some questions over here already in the chat. Let's check them out. Okay. Let's start with this one from Abhinav. Can we capture speech from voice note and convert it from speech to text? Ooh, good question, Rhythm. Can we do that?
No, that feature is not there currently, but we would be able to take voice messages inputs in the next release or next week's release.
Cool. Okay. So it is on the roadmap.
Yeah. So we are building a
Um,
solution to collect all documentations and any user inputs, like any type of user inputs. It can be a geolocation as well.
got it. Makes sense. What is the cost of Chatbot, a subscription model? Good question. So we have a pricing on our webpage. I'm sure Abhilash will share our pricing page over here. That is for the builder. What are the additional costs associated with WhatsApp? Because I know the template messages and
Yeah. I'll share that article right away.
so I think WhatsApp does have some cost associated with it. Let's see if
That's
okay. So
right.
Ritam shared an article with me. I'll just share it with all of you guys as well. So this is the Facebook page where they discuss pricing around WhatsApp, and I'll share our pricing page as well if you guys want. Oh, there we go. Abhilash coming in clutch, getting us the pricing page. Okay, so that question is done. We have a couple of questions in the Q&A section. Okay, can we hand over the chat to an agent? As I understand, Ritam, we can't right now in WhatsApp.
There is a workaround that, like as I said, we can generate a link for any WhatsApp number. So if there is a live agent sitting in another WhatsApp number, we can basically generate a link and ask the user to click on this number if they want to switch to a live agent.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. And we do have people using that.
Not as of now. We did build some demos, but there are no live deployments for that.
Got it. Cool. Next question: if we have to collect payments through WhatsApp, is it possible to do that?
No, because we have integration with payment gateway, which is Razorpay, but WhatsApp has their own payment gateways with which we have not built any integrations. What we can do is we can have a Razorpay payment integrated chatbot link in the WhatsApp chat, on clicking which they can basically
Right.
get redirected to that page and make the payment.
Right. So they can complete the entire conversation in WhatsApp, and then you give them a payment link. They go to the payment link, pay it, and then it's done.
Okay, so Akshiti has shared a link for Naveen's, but that is a web bot. So it's the same way, like we just have to share them a link on WhatsApp, which they can click and get directed to another WhatsApp chat.
Oh, great. Okay, so yeah, Rhythm, I think you were saying this. Actually, one of our other customer success managers is saying that one of our customers is actually doing the chat transfer to an agent right now with a talk to link.
Yeah, so that is for web chat. So in web chat, we can
Okay,
have it integrated with Talk to, which is another live chat tool, and we can hand over the chat from a chatbot to the Talk to agent.
got it. Okay, so the next question over here is from Shobit.
It's on WhatsApp also. Okay, let me check the WhatsApp one.
Does WhatsApp's
Can you share? Can you
Sorry,
share
go ahead.
the number, Akshiti?
This webinar has just
Okay.
turned into a TARS conference call now. We've got Abhilash here. We've got Akshiti here. All right, so Rhythm over here, while we're waiting for that link, we have another question. Does WhatsApp's new privacy policy affect TARS's interaction with it in any way, especially those bots which are deployed for Indian businesses?
No, I don't think like it has affected us in any way. Like all our live deployments are running the way as it were.
Yeah, I think the privacy policy change is more affects how your data is handled on the back.
Right.
We have some more questions on the chat. Is there any SOP around brand promotion from WhatsApp? Good
Around
question.
brand promotion. So I guess that's around the template messaging part.
Right. I guess maybe the whole thing. There are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind for sure. Let's see if
So you can the brand promotions can be done like you can have your logo, like your profile picture will be your company's logo. The about us section would have the company's. I'll just quickly show the IMC one. Like it would be more clear once I show it. Like
yeah, you can take over screen share whenever you want. It should allow you.
yeah. So as you can see for tars as well, like we have our own logo, and all these can be configured as well for a client. This is the about us thing, and we can have the business thing as well in case that is an official business account, like as I showed for IMC, which has the green tick.
Right. And then another thing to obviously keep in mind is that, like you were mentioning, Ritam, you can't promote in your template messages. So, like when you're thinking about brand promotion, like don't be explicitly promotional in the notifications that you send.
Right. So we have some best practices around it, like how to get your template messages approved. So if Abhila, or let's wait, like I will be share that.
Cool. While we find that, let's go through some more of these questions. They are coming in quick. Okay, so we actually have a link from one of our CSMs of an example where there is of a WhatsApp chatbot example where you can hand off to a live agent.
So yeah, I'm sharing this article. This will basically help you with how to draft your template messages. Okay, I again shared it with the panelist.
There you go. Yeah, it's a bit of a doozy to remember. Okay, let's check out some more questions. Okay, these questions are coming in fast. Okay, brand promotion. Um, in linking the chat to information customers have already stored with us, would that be just plugged in through apps like HubSpot? Is he trying to make customers checkout process smoother for their next course with us? Yep. So our builder on the back end, it has a pretty versatile integration suite. You can just do a regular API integration if any app that you're using has an API, but we also have integrations with HubSpot. We have integrations with Zapier, so you can connect to any of the apps that Zapier connects to. We're constantly adding new integrations. So within the chat, you can basically define places in the chat where information is sent to your CRM or sent to your whatever software you want to send it to, and then information can also be fetched back. So if you for example are having a conversation with someone, they share some identifying information with you, phone number, something like that, or you have access to the phone number, I guess, because it's a WhatsApp conversation. You can use
Right.
that phone number, cross-reference it against your CRM, and then have the information that's relevant to that particular customer ready for the chatbot to send to the customer where it's required. Okay, so what are upcoming features of WhatsApp? Like we've seen quick actions recently. Menu is also available in beta version with haptic.
Okay, so upcoming features, like as far as I know, the main thing that we would be focusing is collecting different type of inputs, which can be your geolocation, your media files. It can be a document as well. But in terms of payment integration, I don't think that like I cannot comment on that basically because that's a payment integration of WhatsApp.
Right.
So the next features that we can be looking at is collecting media files from the user, media files and geolocation.
Right. Can you share some examples of template messages? Good question. Unfortunately, we can't share our customers' template messages with you because that's their
Yeah. So
private
it's
information.
in the link itself. The one that I had shared, it has like examples of rejected, approved templates. So you can just
Oh,
go through
great.
this help doc, and you'll be able to see that. Yeah.
Awesome. So Nathan, I think you asked that question. Let's see if we can share that link again in the chat so that it's like at the bottom for Nathan to access easily. And you can check
I'll
that out
provide
to
it.
see what sorts of messages work, what sorts of messages don't work. What will be roughly the penalty amount if government identifies us as spammers? I think over here you need to be more concerned about WhatsApp identifying you as a spammer.
Yeah, government won't charge anything. WhatsApp may basically like put some restrictions on the number of messages that you are sending. So there is a tier level for each WhatsApp number that we have. I think I can find that article somewhere here. Yeah. So there are three tiers: tier one, tier two, tier three. And tier one, you basically a number starts with tier one, which allows you to send messages to 1,000 numbers only in a 24-hour period. So depending on like if you are like following the policies or not, if you are spamming the users, then they won't be promoting you to the next tiers. Or in case you have got a lot of reports in your business and a lot of blocks from customers, then they can basically degrade your tier, like move you from tier 3 to tier 2, or they can block your number itself.
Great. Can you share the auto dealer use case with us? Again, that's a live deployment with the customer. I don't know if we'll be able to share the actual template messages or the campaigns.
Yeah, we won't be. I don't think, like, I need to check if we can share that or not.
I would encourage you, if anyone wants to see specific examples, book a demo with us because we can share some of the more complex demos that we have made with you on a thing. We just can't we really can't share anything on a public forum like this, especially if it is proprietary customer data that belongs to our
Okay,
customer to
so
their
there is
customers.
one more question from Alvin. Can we get the stat report when promoting business with? Can we get the stat report when promoting business with WhatsApp chatbot? I guess you are asking about the campaign stats, and yeah, I think I missed that when showing the demo. So over here, you will get all the data. Like as you can see, this campaign, like the thing below, webinar 2105. You'll get the send time, the send date, how many people it has been sent to, how many messages were delivered, and how many were seen. Now in the scene thing, this basically does not include the users who have turned off their read receipts. So yeah, all these stats are available here, and you can download this as a CSV as well.
So, folks, I see a lot of you guys are again asking for the auto dealership example. I'm sharing the demo link again. Just book a demo with us, and we can walk you through a more complex auto dealership example. We can't really share that with you on the. We can't share the live deployment with you on the webinar again. Um, let's move on to some other questions over here. Can we get this? Oh yeah, okay. So you answered this already, I think. And that is a follow up to that. What's more preferable from a customer perspective, a content residing on WhatsApp or redirection? Is there any set proportions for that journey? It's a good question. I mean, intuitively to me, Rhythm, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like if you can share a short amount of like if it's a small amount of information, share it through WhatsApp. But if it's like a really large amount of information that you share with them, just redirect them to a web page because it doesn't make sense to share like a lot of information into a lot of information
Right,
in a WhatsApp
right.
message.
That's right. So again, like I missed out on one thing, which is we can basically push PDFs and images inside the WhatsApp chatbot. It can be a complete file itself. Now, as you can see for this particular chatbot, this is another like one of our customers, which is Okaya Power. And since this is also a big established company, they have got the green tick, which is the official business status. Now, if I select option 3, which is download catalogs, so if I select any one of these, like it will basically push a PDF file inside from the WhatsApp chatbot itself. And these kind of things are possible. Like rather than redirecting them out of the chat, you can always push content inside the chat itself.
Awesome. So we have a question here. We'll go back to the chat and then we'll come back to this question in the Q&A. Can your bot be integrated with marketing automation tools like WebEngage and CleverTap? Yes, they can. The information
Yeah,
that's collected from the bot can be sent there, and the information that's in those tools that you might have on customers can be fetched by the bot into your conversations.
right,
In
right.
fact, I'd say that the vast majority, Rhythm, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd say the vast majority of our customers, like their data is not residing just in the chatbot. The chatbot is sort of the interaction layer. And then once the interaction is done, you can do analysis in TARS to figure out how to improve the interaction. But if you want to take that data that you're collecting from customers and turn it into actual sales or actual engagement on the back end, you need to send it. Most people are sending it to their CRM, to their marketing automation tools where they can nurture those leads,
Absolutely.
nurture those conversations into conversion.
Right. And the beauty of this platform is like the channel is like if someone just replies something, like their number gets like the lead is generated automatically. So
Yeah.
we don't need to ask their phone number, which is the most prime thing for any lead generated.
Right. That's the beauty of WhatsApp, because you like the phone number is already accessible to the chatbot just because the user has opted into the chat.
Right. And also
Um,
like since we get the phone number before the first gambit, like before the start of the conversation, we can like personalize it to that level. Like we can have the information of the phone number, we can send it to a CRM and collect all the user details. So from the first message
right.
itself, it can be very personalized. Like we can address them with their name, show them all their details.
We have some examples on the web-based chatbot side where we've actually done a live demo on an e-commerce company that where when you log into their website, the chatbot is able to access all of your customer data on the back end to give you personalized messages.
Yeah,
For a
right.
customer use case, you can open the chatbot up and track your order in the chatbot. Something like that is very possible on the WhatsApp side as well. Just the interface will be on WhatsApp instead of on the web.
Right, right.
All right, we have a couple of questions from Vishal here in the Q&A. Can we run a campaign for a retailer to run a loyalty program?
Yeah, we can. Like all they need to do is get a WhatsApp number, get the WhatsApp business API, and for a retailer, I don't think WhatsApp has any issues. They have issues with any companies that are selling drugs, like any pharma companies.
Yeah. Also, non-pharma companies that are selling drugs as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, the second question we have from Vishal is, are you running any campaign for FMCG companies? If yes, what kind of campaigns?
So I don't think we have any FMCG companies as of now in our current
We do
customer
have
base, but
FMCG companies on the web-based chatbot side, right?
yeah. For web-based, we would be having, but not for the WhatsApp chatbot.
If you want to try running a campaign for an FMCG company, use the demo link in the chat, and we'll help you get set up. Um, this is a repeat question. What will roughly be the penalty amount if the government identifies us as a spammer? Again, government, the government really won't give you a penalty. This is WhatsApp. This is not like public spectrum that you're using. It's on the internet. It's like an OTA, uh, OTT service, sorry, over the top. Like it's not. You're not gonna. What you need to be worried about over here uh, is WhatsApp giving you a penalty or WhatsApp marking you as spam, not the government.
Yeah. And the
Um,
penalty won't be in monetary terms. It will be basically blocking your number or something like that.
yeah. Any energy and utilities use case for your platform? Didn't we just have an example, Okaya?
Oh yeah. Okay, I was there.
Yeah, we actually just opened one up, Rohan. I don't know if you missed that part of the webinar, but here, Rhythms pulled it up again. This is an example of one of our customers who's an energy utility player who's currently using WhatsApp chatbots.
Yeah, and it's for customer service itself. Like we can do all these things from the chatbot. And yeah, coming to the business thing, like you can regarding the branding thing, I guess someone asked that question. You can have all these things fed in your profile section, like the official email ID, the official website. Yeah, this is the official business.
We have a couple of questions from YouTube, actually, that Abhilash has been kind enough to share with us on the Zoom chat. How do you connect WhatsApp? How do you connect WhatsApp in the first place? And can TARS be integrated with Keep in Infusionsoft? Second question: can TARS be integrated with Keep or Infusionsoft? Yes, it can. Any CRM, any marketing automation tool out there, we can probably integrate with them. As long as they have an API available, we can integrate with them. And if they're on Zapier, we can integrate with them. Which most things, Keep is 100% on Zapier. I know that for a fact. So yes, we can absolutely integrate with Keep, and it's a very simple process. Second question: how do you connect WhatsApp in the first place? That's a question for you, Rhythm.
So yeah, I went through that, but it's a pretty straightforward process. Like you will need to get in touch with us to generate, like to get your account verified as a WABA. And once it is verified as a WABA, you will get an API key. And once you have that API key in place, you would be having a WhatsApp business number. You just need to add these two things over here and just click on this particular thing. So it's a pretty straightforward process. The only time consuming process is uh, getting the WABA access.
Awesome. Uh, Great. I think that might be all the questions that we had. Great questions, guys, as always. Oh no, we have another one. Behaviorally, is there any difference between a consumer against a customer? For example, pharma, our customers, i.e., doctors, aren't our direct consumers.
I don't think that they'll approve this because we have. Um, I got in touch regarding another company that wanted to do something similar, and they were in the medical field.
I'm sorry, Rhythm. I didn't catch that. Could you repeat that really quick?
So I don't think for pharma companies, for any use case, WhatsApp would allow them to have a WABA account.
Got it. But generally, B2C versus B2B, we have generally worked with B2C people, mostly worked with B2C people. Um, in the case of pharma in particular, like Rhythm said, WhatsApp just does not want to touch the pharma industry with a 10-foot pole. But generally, B2C versus B2B, we generally work with B2C people. But that doesn't mean I don't like. There are a lot of chatbot players out there who work with B2B companies as well, and we also do work with several B2B companies. It's just I'd say the majority of people that we work with tend to be B2C, where you're interacting directly with the end consumer as opposed to interacting with the business that's in between you and the end consumer.
Right. I'll just share this
Mm,
policy as well over here.
Answer live. Can we get more than one WABA number? Good question. This is if we are servicing more than one client.
Yeah. We can have more than one WABA number.
Yep.
We can have
So I
any
think the
number of
WABA
WABA
number is.
for. Yes. Yeah,
Sorry,
you
go
were
ahead.
saying something. Right?
No. Go ahead. Go ahead. You can have any
No,
number of
I'm
WABA.
saying that yeah, we can have any number of WABA accounts, and we can have multiple WABA numbers for a single business as well. Like currently for
Oh
TARS, we
wow.
have
Okay.
around 6 to 7 WABA numbers. So that number can be anything.
Got it. That was a good question though. I didn't know the answer to that. I learned something. Does your platform have machine learning capabilities? So we don't have machine learning capabilities natively built into the platform, but what we do have is the ability to integrate with with things like NLP engines. So the last webinar that we hosted actually was about how you can build an NLP chatbot on the TARS platform, an NLP customer service chatbot. And what we did over there was we built the flow in TARS using the flow chart method that Rhythm showed you guys. But what we did in that flow chart was at certain points we link up with Google's Dialogflow NLP engine, to essentially understand what the customer was saying at that point, and then according to that, directing in different directions in the flow.
Yeah, and we can
So
do
yeah,
that
I
with
mean, in a
Google
sense, we
Sheet
do.
as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Ritam and I were just talking about this earlier today. People have we've got we've got a customer who is currently using just a straight up Google Sheet to detect intent, um, and um, and answer accordingly. Yup, the meeting is in fact over by 15 minutes, but when we get good questions, we can't help but stay on. Um, You want to, okay, we have a question over here. I want to dock on WhatsApp e-commerce chatbot. Jeet, highly recommend that you book a demo with us. We can show you everything that you need to know about WhatsApp e-commerce chatbots. Again, I'll put the demo link in here. I think it's just demo. Yeah. Let me put it so it's linkable. I mean, one way to think about it, Jeet, is that the demos that we are encouraging you to book, you can think of them as just personalized webinars where you jump on and one of us will essentially give you a personal walkthrough through any of the questions that you have, and
Yeah.
you can talk on it. It's not a webinar format where you guys are the audience and we're talking to you. It's a conversation. Can you go back and forward between WhatsApp API account and a WhatsApp real person customer service account?
Not on the same number. The real person has to have a different number, like for which we can basically generate a link and then redirect.
Got it. I love these questions, Nathan. These are really insightful questions that you have been asking through the session. Any more questions? Maybe now we've reached the end. Thanks, Amir.
Yeah.
We love hosting these webinars for you guys, especially the WhatsApp ones, because we get the best questions in the WhatsApp ones. Sometimes we'll do a webinar about web-based chatbots, and there'll be people in the audience, but they just don't have any questions. WhatsApp chatbots, though, if we have a webinar, they are they're there are always a bunch of questions, and we factor that into the time, but inevitably we never factor enough time, and we always go over because there's just so many good questions that we need to answer. But I think we leave it there. Thank you everyone for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure hosting it for you guys. I'm glad that you guys found it informative. I'm really glad that you guys found it informative. We'll send you the recording to this webinar after. As we mentioned earlier, it's also being live streamed onto YouTube. So go check out our YouTube channel, and you should be able to see the recording immediately after. It takes YouTube a little bit to process. But other than that, we will take the recording off of Zoom and put it up on our website as well for you guys to check out. And we'll send an email out to you as well. But that's it from us today. Thanks for joining us. Rita, thank you for co-hosting with me today.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Abhilash has shared the YouTube link with you guys. I'll give you about 5 seconds to check out the YouTube link, and then we can end this.